Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a quick little Gran Turismo 7 news video. It appears for the second year in a row, Gran Turismo 7 will not get an update in December. So if you didn't know, the upcoming mystery prize for the World Series finals was the Hyundai, and unfortunately Polyphony themselves actually went ahead and leaked it early. If you checked in game before you went into the world map, the mystery prize was actually already on show. They then went ahead and had to do a whole tweet basically saying that yes, this is the mystery prize, we'll be unveiling it still at the World Series, and then they went on to say when the car would actually be releasing. And in doing so, they practically confirmed that there will be no update for December of 2024 and that the next time Gran Turismo 7 will receive any kind of update will actually be in January of 2025. So on screen now is an official tweet from the official Gran Turismo account over on X, introducing the Hyundai Ioniq 5N in the January 2025 update of Gran Turismo 7. Ahead of its inclusion in the update, the 5N will appear in the Nations Cup qualifier of the GT World Series World Final taking place in Amsterdam this weekend. The action will be covered in the live broadcast program, and the viewership campaign that players can participate in gaming in GT7. The prize for watching the Nations Cup is of course the 5M. Now in terms of the car itself, it just goes on to explain what it is, and then it also confirms at the end, please look forward to its reveal in the World Finals taking place this weekend and its inclusion in the January GT7 update. So as you can see, Polyphony themselves have made two mentions of a January 2025 update, so we know that is absolutely confirmed. However, the car is being revealed officially this weekend, and it wouldn't make sense to reveal it and then not add it in the same month if there was going to be a December update. So it practically confirms that that is the updates done for 2024. And that's going to lead me to talk about the state of GT7 in 2024 when it comes to its post-launch content. So if we look back at the end of 2023 to begin with, we had the Spec 2 update in November, and that was the last update for GT7 until the end of January 2024. So there was quite a big gap there. However, the start of 2024 rolls around and we had back-to-back smaller updates, which is actually quite refreshing. It was very hit and miss throughout 2023. Sometimes we'd get a small update and then we'd have to wait months again, but at least at the beginning of the year, it seemed hopeful that the kind of monthly updates that they began with in 2022 were kind of making this reappearance. Yes, they weren't anything absolutely mind-blowing, but it was a constant stream of content for the player base to take part in. Then if we look into the middle of the year, around about June time into July is of course when we got the big update. And of course, when it comes to big updates in 2024, that was the only real one that had proper content to it. So apart from that, once that update had kind of rolled around and been and gone, it's been very lackluster. It's been very broken apart with the updates. It's not been consistent. They've been arriving at random times. They've been very spread apart in comparison to the beginning of the year, which shows me that the support is slowing down for GT7. And it's the same here. Of course, the November update was the whole PS5 Pro thing, the update to PSVR 2. However, the content in that was pretty dire, and considering the month before as well in October was pretty lackluster after a decent while of waiting around for that update, it just seems that the updates so far in 2024 just haven't been that good overall. And I think with confirmation that updates are done for this year, we can look back at 2024 as a pretty weak year overall. Yes, it started with a nice constant stream of stuff to do each month. Yes, the updates were smaller, but it seemed that they were, teasing something bigger. Then the bigger update came and faded away pretty quickly, and after that it's been absolutely dire. One of the worst trends that we've seen from Polyphony in 2024 when it comes to their updates is the inclusion of only 3 events per update, other than I believe 1 or 2 updates throughout the year. If we look at the most recent update, for example, this had the potential to be the second major content update of 2024, which to be honest would have satisfied a lot of players. A lot of players don't mind getting these smaller updates spread throughout, with a couple of bigger updates in between. This has been the typical way that GT7 has functioned mentioned in both 2022 and of course 2023, and it just wasn't the case. Of course, they brought this update out to, do the new PS5 Pro stuff, the PSVR 2 update, and they really should have been trying to get as many players back as possible, but then we saw 5 new cars released, which were all pretty decent in their own right. However, only 3 new events, and it's a trend that Polyphony have continued throughout the entirety of this year. There's been so much potential for these updates and so much potential with some pretty decent cars throughout the year. However, they fade away so quickly from memory because there's nowhere to use them. If we look especially at the new Mercedes-Benz, which is only really good if you're a VR player, which I can only imagine is going to be, a decent handful of the actual player base of GT7, and the Porsche Mission X being absolutely irrelevant and having nothing to do in game, even though they are some of the most recent inclusions to GT7. The next thing a lot of players are probably going to mention is the fact that there's only been one single track released for 2024, and even then it really wasn't one that too many players were asking for, and you've seen it here in the background, Eigenordswand. Honestly, it's a single layout of a track that used to have multiple, and at that was literally a lot for the entire tracks of 2024. Even prior to this, we had probably maybe 2 tracks, brand new tracks added to the game, and then of course on top of that we would have multiple layouts added, new layouts added to existing tracks. So again, it felt like there was more coming in terms of that kind of content, and that's what a lot of players are screaming out for: the events, new tracks and new layouts, and Polyphony has just refused to take advantage of this in 2024. So I feel like when it comes to the content itself, 2024 has been pretty dire in the way that Gran Turismo 7 has actually been handled. I get this is its kind of 3rd year of support, or 2 and a bit years I guess in terms of full post-launch support, but still, that's nothing new for a game, and it was kind of promised as a live service. Now the problem is, a lot of people will turn around and say, well, it's free content, don't be ungrateful, blah blah blah. However, that's nothing new for a racing game either, and it's definitely nothing new for a game in 2024. A lot of games put out free content updates to keep players returning, keep players buying microtransactions or whatever, and of course they are in Gran Turismo 7 and they must be doing something, or else of course they wouldn't keep them in game. So at the end of the day, that's not really an excuse for the content just not being good enough, and it's not even like the actual key content of the updates is necessarily bad. The main key issue is places to actually use the content and get the most out of it. I don't know why a big company like Sony, which are clearly going to be in the background somewhere with Polyphony, aren't pushing this flagship racing title on PlayStation to be the best it possibly can be. So I think, well, if this is going to be it for 2024 and the updates of this year, it's been a pretty lackluster year, and hopefully Polyphony begin to change things around in 2025. However, at present I'm pretty doubtful that it'll be more of the same. So there we go, that is it for Gran Turismo 7 in 2024 with its post-launch support. Honestly, I think this has been a up and down year. It kind of started off really well and kind of faded out very quickly towards the middle of the year. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care guys, peace.